The Call of the Wild Jack London, 야성의부름 13번째 이야기. In their very great misery, they had become insensible to the bites of the lash or the bruise of the club. They were not half living or quarter living. There came a day when Billy, the good-natured, fell and could not rise. Hal had traded off his revolver, so he took the axe and knocked Billy on the head as he lay in a traces. Buck saw, and his mates saw, and they knew that this thing was very close to them. On the next day, Kuna went, and but 5 of them remained. It was beautiful spring weather, but neither dogs nor humans were aware of it. Each day the sun rose earlier and set later. With the dogs falling, Bosidos weeping and riding, Hal swearing innocuously, and Charles' eyes wistfully watering, they staggered into John Thornton's camp at the mouth of White River. When they halted, the dogs dropped down as though they had all been struck dead. Bosidos dried her eyes and looked at John Thornton. Hal talked to Thornton. They told us up above that the bottom was dropping out of the trail and that the best thing for us to do was to lay over. They told us we couldn't make White River, and here we are. And they told you true, John Thornton answered. The bottom's likely to drop out at any moment. Only fools with the blind luck of fools could have made it. I tell you straight, I wouldn't risk my carcass on that ice for all the gold in Alaska. That's because you are not a fool, I suppose, said Hal. All the same, we'll go on to Dawson. He uncoiled his whip. Get up there, Buck, high, get up there, motion. But the team did not get up at the command. Hal wielded the whip here and there mercilessly. John Thornton compressed his lips. Solex was the first to grow to his feet. Tick followed. Joe came next, yelping with pain. Pike made painful efforts. Buck made no effort. He lay quietly where he had fallen. The lash bit into him again and again, but he neither whined nor struggled. Several times Thornton started as though to speak, but changed his mind. A moisture came into his eyes, and as the whipping continued, he arose and walked irresolutely up and down. This was the first time Buck had failed in itself a sufficient reason to drive Hal into a rage. Like his mates, he was barely able to get up, but unlike them, he had made up his mind not to get up. He had a vague feeling of impending doom. This had been strong upon him when he pulled in to the bank, and it had not departed from him. He had felt thin and rotten ice under his feet all day, and it seemed that he sensed disaster close at hand, out there ahead on the ice where his master was trying to drive him. He refused to stir. He suffered so greatly that the blows did not hurt much. And as they continued to fall upon him, the spark of life within flickered and went down. He felt strangely numb. As though from a great distance, he was aware that he was being beaten. The last sensations of pain left him. And then John Thornton sprang upon the man who wielded the club. Hal was hauled backward as though struck by a falling tree. John Thornton stood over Buck, struggling to control himself, too convulsed with rage to speak. If you strike that dog again, I'll kill you, he at last managed to say in a choking voice. It's my dog, Hal replied, wiping the blood from his mouth as he came back. Get out of my way or I'll fix you. I'm going to Dawson. Thornton stood between him and Buck, and evinced no intention of getting out of the way. Hal drew his long hunting knife. Thornton rapped Hal's knuckles with the axe handle, locking the knife to the ground. He rapped his knuckles again as he tried to pick it up. Then he stooped, picked it up himself, and with 2 strokes cut Buck's traces. Hal had no fight left in him. Besides, his hands were full with his sister, and Buck was too near dead to be of further use in hauling the sled. A few minutes later, they pulled out from the bank and down the river. Buck heard them go and raised his head to see. Pike was leading, Sol-leks was at the wheel, and between were Joe and Dick. They were limping and staggering. Mercedes was riding the loaded sled. Hal guided the G-pole, and Charles stumbled along in the rear. As Buck watched them, Thornton knelt beside him and with rough, kindly hands searched for broken bones. Dog and man watched it crawling along over the ice. Suddenly, they saw its back end drop down as into a rut, and the G-pole with Hal clinging to it jerked into the air. Mercedes' scream came to their ears. They saw Charles turn and make one step to run back, and then a whole section of ice give way, and dogs and humans disappear. A yawning hole was all that was to be seen. The bottom had dropped out of the trail. John Thornton and Buck looked at each other. "You poor devil," said John Thornton, and Buck licked his hands.